You've probably heard of the Stations of the Cross, but do you really understand the spiritual power they hold? During Lent, many Catholics fast, pray more, and do penance, but overlook one of the deepest and most transformative practices of our faith, the meditation on Christ's passion, step by step, station by station. The Stations of the Cross isn't just a pretty church tradition, it's a deep dive into the heart of the gospel, and if you know how to experience it with faith, it can totally change your Lent. So stick with me until the end of this video. You'll understand why this practice might be just what's missing in your walk with God. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you love living your faith deeply, and share this with someone who needs to hear this today. The Stations of the Cross, also called the Way of the Cross, is one of the oldest and most beloved devotions in our church. It was born from the desire of Christians to follow in Jesus' footsteps on the way to Calvary, from the condemnation to death on the cross and burial. It all started with the first pilgrims in Jerusalem. They wanted to walk where Jesus walked, touch the ground where he fell, meditate where he wept. Over time, this desire spread, and the 14 Stations of the Cross appeared in churches all over the world as a way to spiritually experience this sacred journey. Each station shows us a moment from Jesus' suffering, his sacrifice, Mary's sadness, the heavy cross, love until the very end. The Stations of the Cross aren't a play, it's a deep prayer, a time to be with Jesus in his pain. He still carries the cross today, for me and for you. That's why the Church so lovingly recommends this practice, especially during Lent. Because there's no better way to understand how Jesus saved us than to walk with him on his journey to Calvary. Lent is a call from the Church to return to what truly matters: prayer, penance, and conversion. But how can we truly live this out in a real and practical way, amidst the hustle and bustle of daily life? That's where the Stations of the Cross, or Way of the Cross, comes in, because there is no Lent without the cross. And the Way of the Cross is the most direct path to unite us with the cross of Christ. At each station, we learn to die a little to our pride, to our selfishness, to sin. The Stations of the Cross reminds us that Christ really suffered, and he suffered for us. It wasn't a symbolic story, it was blood, pain, abandonment, and he went through all of that for love. When we meditate on this with faith, our hearts change. We stop complaining about life and start to unite ourselves with the redeeming suffering of Jesus. That's why the Stations of the Cross aren't optional for anyone who wants to experience Lent deeply. It's a gift. It's like the Church is saying, come walk with Jesus, learn from him, love as he loved. The Stations of the Cross isn't just a nice meditation, it's a spiritual shock treatment. Anyone who prays with faith, with an open heart, reaps benefits that truly touch the soul. First off, meditating on the Passion cleans our hearts. When we think about what Jesus went through, our sins start to feel different. Awareness awakens, the soul repents more deeply. And this makes room for a true conversion. Also, the Stations of the Cross builds our Christian character. We learn to be humble, to have patience, to accept the everyday struggles with more faith. Each time Jesus falls, it teaches us to rise with him. Each sorrow of Our Lady shows us how to trust even in the midst of darkness. And it's not just me saying this. The saints were passionate about the Stations of the Cross. Saint Faustina, Saint Alphonsus Liguori, Saint Leonard of Port Maurice, all strongly recommended this devotion, because they knew how much it transforms the soul. You don't need to be in a church with fancy pictures or booklets to pray the Stations of the Cross. What you need is faith. Faith and a willing heart. Of course, if you can pray in church, even better. But if you can't, You can do it at home, in your room, even walking down the street with your phone in your hand and your heart with God. What matters is meditating on each station with reverence and devotion. You can use a small book, follow along with a video, or even do it from memory, and there's no need to make it complicated. Pray calmly, pause for a moment at each station, imagine Jesus right there in front of you, suffering for love. Be silent, talk to him. That's already the Stations of the Cross. If you want something more tangible, here's a tip. Place a cross or an image of Christ in front of you, light a candle. Turn everything off. Make this moment an altar. The important thing is not to just go through the motions, but to pray from the heart. And then yes, grace will come. A lot of people say, oh, I wish I could pray, but I don't have time. But let's be honest, we make time for what's important to us. Today there are 30-minute, 15-minute, even 10-minute versions of the Stations of the Cross for those who live busy lives. You can pray on your way to work, during lunch, before bed. It can be video, audio, or even reading on your phone. Technology today is at the service of faith. And more, it's not about the amount, it's about the quality of the offering. 10 minutes of well-prayed Stations of the Cross with your heart turned to God is worth more than a distracted hour. So if you're one of those people who always says they can't pray because they don't have time, start with one station a day. Just one. That's it. And you'll see how Christ starts to speak to you along the way. Now that you understand the power of this practice, I want to invite you to do something. Pray the Stations of the Cross today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Even if it's a short version, even if it's just one station. But pray with faith. Look at Christ fallen, wounded, humiliated, and say, Lord, I want to walk with you. Do this, and then come back here to comment on how it was. I challenge you, give 10 minutes of your day to this prayer and see what heaven starts to do inside you. You won't leave the same. And if this video touched your heart, send it to someone who needs to experience a deeper Lent. Share it, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and right here in the comments, I will pray the Stations of the Cross. Let's make this Lent the holiest one of your life. See you in the next video. Peace and courage. Do you want to understand the prophecies shaping the future of the world? In the ebook Catholic Prophecies, The Future of the World Revealed, you'll uncover powerful messages from the Bible, saints, and Marian apparitions. Most importantly, you'll see how they connect to the times we are living in. Don't be left in the dark. Get your copy now. The link is in the description and pinned comment.